Dust rolls across the Sinaloa hills. A boy watches trucks vanish into heat. Some roads lead out, others circle back. Tonight, he learns the difference. His name is Joaquín, small in size, large in hunger. People call him El Chapito, the little one. He outgrows the nickname, not the need. Cornfields, empty plates. He sells oranges on the roadside. Money is a rumor that never arrives. Rumors teach faster than schools. Uncles whisper of hidden trails. Mules walk where police don't. Supply moves like river water, quiet, persistent. The boy listens and remembers. First lessons are simple. Don't be seen. Don't be late. Never trust a promise with clean shoes. The hills keep better secrets than men. He learns to pay on time. To fix problems before they grow teeth. To smile like he has nothing to hide. To hide like he has nothing to lose. Sinaloa grows what the world wants. The world pays what Sinaloa needs. Between those two truths, an empire forms. Between those truths, a boy finds purpose. Older men test him. He shows up first, leaves last. Bribes are envelopes. Loyalty is bread. Everyone eats until someone talks. He studies the map nobody prints. Gullies, ranches, crooked checkpoints. 1,000 tiny decisions make one big path. He learns to choose the quietest one. Border towns hum at night. Truck engines pray to saints of Greece. Drivers exchange nods, not names. His nod is enough. Weight increases. So does risk. He divides loads like a chess player. 10 routes for one shipment. If one dies, 9 live. He watches bosses fall to bullets and mirrors. Mirrors because vanity kills slow. He keeps his hair short, his promises shorter. Staying small becomes a strategy. Federations rise, federations crumble. He builds something quieter, not a castle corridors, not a throne leverage. Cash smells like metal and rain. He stacks it in rooms without windows. Money buys silence, until it buys noise. He prefers the first purchase. Rivals measure power with gunfire. He measures it with delivery times. If the cargo arrives, he wins. If it doesn't, nobody will say his name. Tunnels begin as rumors, then blueprints, then shafts of cold earth. Where others see walls, he sees exits. Where others see danger, he sees schedule. He hires engineers with secrets. They design holes that breathe and listen. Telephones underground, rails that hum. Darkness with logistics. Above ground, the city yawns. Below, a train of contraband whispers. A border is just a line on paper. Paper burns. Ports open like mouths. Coastlines trade storms for cargo. He learns tide charts and customs rosters. Time is a currency richer than gold. The shipments grow bold, so do his enemies. He turns enemies into customers. Customers into dependencies. The world names him El Chapo, the little one with endless corridors. He wears the name like a blade in a boot. Useful, concealed. Violence is a language he avoids speaking, but he understands every verb. Orders travel down corridors faster than bullets. Still, bullets arrive. Alliances knit across mountains. Old bosses toast to new arrangements. He sits quietly, calculating margins. Politeness can be a weapon. Sinaloa becomes a rumor with teeth. Jalisco watches. Tijuana watches. Everyone counts trucks by the taillights. His numbers are bright. Phones crackle in safe houses. He speaks softly, never long. A call should fit inside a breath. A plan should not. The first manhunt begins like a drumbeat. Posters, checkpoints, whispers. He shortens his circle, lengthens his nights. Sleep becomes negotiable. Guatemala's jungle breathes heavy. He moves through it like weather. Arrests follow like shadows. One day, a shadow catches him. Mugshots don't tell stories, they trap seconds, not decades. He stares into the flash and memorizes its sting. Light can be a prison, too. Puente Grande irony in concrete. A bridge in name, a cage in function. But cages have doors, and doors acquire wheels. He studies routines, guard shifts, laundry carts, greasy hinges. The prison breathes on a schedule. He times his own lungs to match. News says, impossible. He says nothing. Some escapes are built screw by screw. Some are built rumor by rumor. A cart rolls past bars. It holds sheets, soap, silence. Inside the silence, a choice. He takes it. Night opens like a throat. He walks out of a legend and into another. People swear they saw a ghost. He swears nothing at all. Back in the hills, phones light up. Old allies return like seasons. The map accepts him again. The corridors never closed. Rivals sharpen knives in newspapers. He sharpens roots in notebooks. A headline can wound. A schedule can heal. Tijuana hardens its checkpoints. Sinaloa hardens its patience. He opens a new door in the floor. The city never notices. The tunnels improve. Ventilation hums like prayer. Builders sign contracts with darkness. Their signatures are paid in cash. He invests in accountants with steady hands. Laundromats, seafood, strawmen with clean collars. Money learns to walk upright. It doesn't stumble anymore. Bodies fall in border towns. Mothers light candles that fight the wind. He avoids cameras, funerals, explanations. A ghost with a ledger. The Federation phrase, too many kings, not enough kingdoms. He speaks softly in rooms with locked doors. Soft words move armies. Flights in the night, landing lights off. Pilots who pray before takeoff. Cargo that never declares itself. Skies as corridors. He pays teachers, mayors, and mechanics. Everyone knows someone who owes him. Debts become a nervous kind of loyalty. Loyalty becomes a nervous kind of debt. A new enemy arrives with letters. Zetas. They colonize terror like real estate. Even the hills listen. He answers without speeches. He answers with logistics. Starve the roots, buy the roots, split the roots. Keep the blood off the invoices. Journalists write names that echo. Some echoes are cut short. He dislikes noise, but he doesn't fear it. Fear is for those who stand still. In safe houses, the TV stays on mute. News tickers crawl like ants. Every city name tastes like copper. He memorizes the map again. Children play soccer near warehouses. Unmarked vans purr like cats. He hates attention, loves precision. The ball rolls, the trucks roll. The North hungers, endlessly. He feeds it in measured bites. Never too much at once. Gluttony breaks more than laws. He builds a myth that fits in a whisper. A man who walks through walls. A man who bends prisons. Myths are cheaper than armor. Rumors visit his mother's house. Soda agents. She serves coffee to both. Both leave unsatisfied. Shots ring in Culiacán. He counts not bodies, but roots. How many are intact? How many need replacing by dawn? A convoy of black SUVs. Inside, quiet men, dry hands. Hunting a ghost in daylight. Daylight is their only advantage. He changes phones like shirts. Numbers are single-use bridges. Burn him after crossing. Smoke means survival. Cash towers in safe rooms. Humidity curls the edges. He smiles money is mortal, too. Spend it before it sours. He reads ledgers by generator light. Every figure is a prayer for tomorrow. Margins comfort him more than saints. Math doesn't lie, it just warns. The D watches through borrowed eyes. Drones hum like mosquitoes. He sleeps under tin roofs. Tin confuses signals. An informant talks, then disappears. He replaces roots, not revenge. Revenge burns time. Time moves product. His children learn new last names. Houses multiply, each with curtains drawn. A father through intercoms and brief visits. Love without daylight. Emma smiles for cameras. Strength disguised as glamour. Beside her, storms pass in designer coats. The forecast is always wrong. He visits a church at dawn. Lights a candle with steady hands. Even unbelievers ask for mercy. Even empires need silence. The first fall ends the first act. The second act begins with a door. Every door has a man who holds it. He learns their names. Mountains are patient. They wait for men to run out of breath. He never runs. He delegates oxygen. Others will pant. He will plan. A cousin's ranch becomes a switchboard. Cows watch trucks arrive at midnight. Animals don't gossip. That's why he trusts them. Another federation is born. This one is a whispering one. Captains who prefer calculators. Wars fought in spreadsheets. He buys warehouses by the smell: dry wood, cold concrete, no mold. Rot is a corrupt negotiator. He fires it on sight. Tijuana tightens again, so he climbs the altitude. Airfields hidden in teeth of stone. Pilots who could land on a sigh. Phones in Chicago, Queens, Madrid. Foreign tongues saying familiar numbers. The map is now a planet. He circles it quietly. In a safe room, he keeps two things: a saint's card and a whiteboard. One for hope, one for edits. Hope gets erased more often. A rival offers truce through priests. He nods, then doubles security. The only promises that last arrive with tracking numbers. A boy in Sinaloa counts his profits. He looks at the hills and smiles. Legacies are contagious. So is hunger. A plane falls near the border. Reporters gather, swatting flies. He watches the footage without blinking. Every loss becomes a blueprint. He learns the rhythm of raids. Thursday dawns, payday Fridays. He moves shipments on Wednesdays. The week becomes a weapon. Politicians change like masks. Promises, photo ops, patrols. He changes tactics, not goals. Goals don't win elections, they outlast them. Bodies in newspapers, faces blurred. Sinaloa mothers hold evidence of life. He reads obituaries like expense reports. Grief has line items. Another capture rumor. This time, the rumor wears a badge. He shortens his circle again. The room gets smaller, the silence louder. Mazatlan Soltaire, tall condos. A knock becomes a battering ram. Steel shouts, boots answer. He runs out of corridors. The arrest is tidy. Photos, rifles, helmets. He lowers his eyes to calibrate the myth. Even legends must be portable. Back to a cell, back to counting. The clock is a metronome with handcuffs. He breathes with it until he doesn't. Then he changes the song. Altiplano high walls, bright lights. Cameras blink like sleepless birds. He learns their weak blinks. Every eye gets tired. The tunnel is a whisper at first. Then a vibration under concrete. Then a motorcycle on rails. Then absence, where a man used to be. The world laughs in disbelief. He doesn't laugh. Humor is for safe people. He is not safe. He is free. Underground becomes biography. He writes chapters in damp air. Pages of dirt, punctuation of rebar. Editors, none. Above ground, the myth grows teeth. Children trade stories like baseball cards. A man who rides a tunnel like a train. Fairy tales with invoices. Los Mochis, another quiet house. Another kitchen, another pot of coffee. Agents arrive like a storm. This time, the storm holds. Handcuffs find his wrists again. Metal remembers how to fit him. He looks small, as always. Small things can be heavy. Extradition whispers cross borders. He hears them through walls. America sharpens its knives of law. Paper cuts deepest. New York waits with neon patience. A courthouse built to measure guilt. He arrives in chains of procedure. Polite chains. Unbreakable ones. Lawyers assemble in tailored armor. Witnesses step from shadow into spotlight. Dealers, cousins, ghosts with faces. The story becomes evidence. He sits, still. Juries watch a legend breathe. A man reduced to posture and pulse. The myth can't fit in a chair. Testimony maps the corridors. Cash piles, call logs, coded nicknames. The jury takes a tour of the underworld without leaving their seats. His gaze stays low. He counts seconds between objections. Rhythm against rhythm. Trial as drumline. Outside, cameras bloom like metal flowers. Inside, silence is curated. Verdicts ripen slowly. Justice prefers a slow harvest. Guilty on counts that sound like thunder. Decades braided into forever. He nods once. Understanding, not agreement. History ties the knot. ADX Florence, where noise retires. Windows that refuse to be windows. A cell engineered to subtract. Even echoes sign NDAs. Days become the same weather. Meals measure time like sundials. He inventories memories like contraband. Nothing to move but thoughts. He thinks of tunnels, of air that tasted like damp hope, of wheels singing under concrete, songs that only he could hear. He thinks of mountains, how they made him small, then useful, how he learned to navigate stone better than he navigated people. He thinks of a nickname, El Chapo, the little one, how the world grew around it until the name fit a country. Outside, the empire edits itself. New captains, familiar maps. Roots inherit habits, not ethics. Supply doesn't retire. Los Chapitos' sons with new shoes. Old corridors, fresher paint. They inherit both the crown and the thunder. Both are heavy. Sinaloa fractures, then convinces itself it hasn't. Boards rearranged, pieces renamed. Markets don't mourn, they rebalance. Fentanyl changes the math. Smaller, stronger, easier to hide. Profit grows teeth and consequences. The body count learns a new language. The North trembles, overdoses climb. Politicians rediscover words like crisis. Families discover words like goodbye. Maps discover new corridors. Los Mochis, Culiacán, Nogales. Cities practice sirens like hymns. Young men practice fearlessness. Some get good at it. Most don't. The old alliances wobble. New ones are negotiated in whispers. Guns on the table, calculators in laps. Everybody pretends it's temporary. Authorities stage shows of force. Helicopters print shadows on roofs. Doors learn to break on schedule. Mothers learn to pray on schedule. An arrest here, a seizure there. Routes pause, then reroute. Water finds cracks. Markets find substitutes. The empire refuses to die. Not because of loyalty, because of gravity. Demand pulls supply like tide. Emma faces cameras again. Courts swap perfumes for fluorescent light. Love writes statements through clenched teeth. A vow becomes a verdict. He hears about it in a room that doesn't echo. His face doesn't move. Inside, something does. Some call him a monster, others, a myth. The hills call him a lesson. Lessons are heavier than legends. Reporters visit Sinaloa. They film boys juggling oranges. History clears its throat. Another childhood watches the road. Agents compare scars in quiet bars. Every scar has a paperwork trail. Every trail ends in a file room. The file room never ends. Extraditions continue like seasons. Trials become a genre. Juries learn new vocabularies. Verdicts learn to repeat themselves. Tunnels are found and photographed. Tourists of catastrophe scroll in awe. They love the cleverness, fear the intent. Both are appropriate. In classrooms, teachers whisper warnings. Easy money eats slow souls. The hills nod, they've seen it. The streets pretend not to listen. A rapper mentions his name. A film rewrites his story. A podcast counts bodies like beats. Fame rinses blood until it looks like ink. Somewhere, a new corridor opens. Somewhere, a boy memorizes a map. He doesn't know the name for hunger yet. Soon he will. He dreams of a door that opens onto daylight. In the dream, no one is waiting. In the dream, the light is empty. The US prison keeps its promises. No tunnels, no whispers, no exits. Just time, folded into squares. He sits inside the crease. Lawyers file appeals like messages in bottles. Currents are not kind here. Bottles return to the same shore. Footprints don't change. His name still buys obedience. But it doesn't buy quiet. Quiet is expensive in a world of sirens. He cannot afford it anymore. He writes letters with careful hands. They travel through guarded air. Words do what money cannot. They arrive where he can't. An old partner disappears. Another grows pious overnight. Conversion is a tactic. So is silence. Seized houses rot slow. Gardens grow around padlocks. Nature repossesses laundered dreams. Green is the final currency. On the news, a convoy burns. On the street, kids cover their ears. On the hill, a father looks away. Noise, everywhere. A chemist counts pills by the thousands. He never sees a face. He never hears a name. He hears money. Politicians visit the border. They point at fences, promise thunder. Thunder visits, then leaves. The fence stays. So do the corridors. A young agent trains on old footage. He learns the angles of a legend. Every angle has a blind spot. He hopes his doesn't. The myth ages without permission. Stories harden into scripture. Facts become souvenirs. The truth stands in line. In Culiacán, a parade of trucks. In Washington, a parade of memos. Both end in speeches. Both claim progress. El Chapo watches the weather report. Snow in a state he never knew. The map shrinks to a window view. Clouds cross a sky he can't touch. He thinks of mistakes, not moral ones, logistical ones. A door opened too soon. A whisper that traveled too far. He thinks of luck, how it arrives dressed as planning, how it leaves without saying goodbye, how he mistook both for destiny. He thinks of sons, of names heavier than bullets. He hopes they learn a new language. He doubts they will. The hills sleep badly. Sirens are lullabies now. Children grow up fluent in alarms. They deserve quieter dictionaries. A judge signs another warrant. Pen scratches like a match. Paper flames invisible. Lives catch fire anyway. A mother sells her house. The buyer pays in whispers. Soon the walls will learn new secrets. Houses adapt quicker than people. A man in a suit counts overdoses. Graphs climb like bad prayers. He calls it data. The data calls back. Another tunnel tour ends. The guide cracks a joke. Everyone laughs, a little too loud. Humor is a life jacket. An ex-captain finds religion. He trades roots for psalms. The choir doesn't ask for details. Forgiveness scales quickly. A journalist opens a cold case box. Dust writes its own headline. Inside, names, dates, questions. Outside, silence holding a pen. A ranch hand retires early. He has seen too many night trucks. He plants tomatoes instead of rumors. They grow, quietly. A boy at a crossroads counts coins. A bus to the city. A job at a warehouse. The map leans toward him. He leans away, for now. In court archives, the story sleeps. Paper stacked like sediment. Future historians will dig. They will find more questions. A corridor plays on a cracked radio. Verses polish a tarnished crown. Melody forgives what memory won't. People sing anyway. He remembers the first orange he sold. How it fit perfectly in his palm. How the sun warmed it from the outside. How hunger warmed it from within. He remembers the first tunnel. The smell of clean dirt. The courage of engineers paid in cash. The moment darkness felt like progress. He remembers the first betrayal. Footsteps that didn't match the story. Eyes too busy counting. He learned to count faster. He remembers the first siren for him. A sound that made the world smaller. He has been shrinking rooms ever since. This one might be the last. Outside, people argue about solutions. Walls, drones, wars, speeches. Hunger waits politely in the corner. It always gets a turn. A mother opens a small store. She sells bread, gum, hope. Hope is always out of stock by noon. She orders more anyway. Teachers pass around a petition. They ask for quiet roads, honest pay. They get signatures. They keep teaching. A tunnel collapses somewhere. Engineers shrug, start another. The earth hasn't decided who it belongs to. It never will. A young cop turns off his body cam. He stares at the floor for a long time. Some choices are smaller than pride. Some prices are larger than paychecks. A judge sleeps badly. Verdicts echo in his ribs. Justice costs more than salary. He pays in years. A widow closes a window. Sirens smear the night like rain. She hums a lullaby to no one. Sleep visits briefly, leaves early. A boy watches the news. Learns a name his father whispers. Knows it matters, doesn't know why. He will. He always will. The empire keeps breathing. Not lungs logistics. Not hearts habits. You can't arrest a habit. El Chapo sits with folded hands. He counts less now. Memory is the only currency left. He spends it carefully. Some call this justice. Some call it inevitability. The hills call it weather. It changes, then returns. Reporters pack up and leave. Headlines find new storms, but the old rain lingers in the smell of the road. A final letter rests unfinished. The words don't cooperate. He has tunneled through everything but this. Language is the last wall. Night again in Sinaloa. Dogs bark at trucks they cannot see. A mother sets 2 plates, then 1. Silence eats first. A river takes back a crossing. Floods erase tire tracks and plans. The water forgets who paid for the bridge. Forgetting is its talent. A young captain studies old mistakes. He vows not to repeat them. He will repeat different ones. Progress, of a kind. A lawman retires, finally. He keeps the badge but not the weight. He teaches his grandson chess. The boy likes the nights best. El Chapo closes his eyes. Not sleep, accounting. He tallies what stayed, what left, what never arrived at all. He is a man in a box. The world is a box without walls. Between him, corridors of memory. He walks them alone. Outside, a truck shifts gears. The sound finds him through concrete. For a moment, he is young again. Then the sound is gone. The Empire refuses to die. It changes uniforms, routes, songs. Names are labels on moving boxes. The boxes don't care. The storyteller lowers his voice. We are not here to praise or damn. We are here to remember how power learns to breathe. And that is the lesson of El Chapo. Empires end, habits linger. Hunger builds what prisons keep. Some corridors never close. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe for more.